Hi children, now we are going to discussing chapter 13, the kings of Vijayanagara. In the previous chapter, we read about Kakatiyas and about warriors, chiefs who had established control over the village and how the Kakatiyas tried to bring them under their control and build a kingdom. But very soon another kingdom was built by a family warrior who led the foundations of a large empire called Vijayanagara in Karnataka. Vijayanagara means the city of victory. It was located on the bank of Tungabhadra river in Karnataka. According to tradition, it was founded by two brothers, Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya, around 1336 AD, with the blessing of a sage named Vijayaranya. The kings of Vijayanagara worshipped Sri Virupaksha, that means Shiva. The Vijayanagara empire lasted for about 250 years. This kingdom ruled by the different families or different dynasties like Sangama dynasty, Salva dynasty, Tolava and Arveti families. On the north bank of the Tungabhadra river, another kingdom established that was called Bahamani kingdom. Initially, it was one large kingdom with its capital in Gulbarga. Later on, between 1489 and 1520 AD, it broke up into 5 smaller kingdoms. Mainly, Bijapur and Golconda ruled over the large parts of the present-day Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. These kingdoms were ruled by the sultans and many whom came from Iran and Arabia. These 5 kingdoms constantly fighting and each other trying to their kingdoms extended. Also, they tried to establish control over the villages and towns and collect revenue from the farmers and traders. Now we are going to discussing about some important kings of Vijayanagara. Harihara and Bukkaraya, already both are founded Vijayanagara 1336 AD. Harihara Raya to Devaraya to Salu Narasimharaya, Krishna Devaraya, Achyutaraya, Alaya Ramaraya, Venkatapati Raya. Among these, Sri Krishna Devaraya was very famous ruler. He ruled 1509 to 1529 AD. That means he ruled only 29 years. We can know much about Vijayanagara Empire from the inscriptions, books and buildings of that period. At the time of Vijayanagara, some of the foreigners visited Vijayanagara, mainly Nicola Kant, Abdul Razak, Pias, Nunez. They wrote so many books about them. Nicola Kant from the Italy was visited Vijayanagara in 1420 AD. Abdul Razak, the Persian trader who visited in 1443 AD. The Portuguese traveler and Pias who visited in it 1520 AD, and Nunez who wrote in 1537 AD. So we are going to discussing about the city of Vijayanagara. The city was built on the bank of the river Tungabhadra next to the ancient temple of Pampa Devi and Sri Virupaksha temple. Abdul Razak says that the city had 7 rings of the fortification. Some of these have been founded by the archaeologists. Portuguese traveler, the Pias, described in his description, he said that the king has made very strong city fortified with walls and towers. These walls are not made those of other cities, but are made of strong masonry, and inside very beautiful rows of buildings with flat roofs. You have a broad and beautiful streets full of fine houses, and these houses belongs to merchants. And there you find all sorts of rubies and diamonds and emerald and pearls and clothes of every sort on the earth. In the evening, we have a fair where they sell horses, vegetables, fruits, wood, etc. Archaeologists are of the opinion that the city had 4 separate divisions. The first one devoted to temple situated on the rock hills. The second one on the valley where crops were raised using water from the irrigation channels. The third, a royal center in which royal palaces and residence of important Nayakas were located. The fourth one allocated for the residence of ordinary town people. Each area was separate from the others. Look at the picture. It is a bronze image of Krishnadevaraya and his two wives installed in Tirumala temple in Chittoor district. Now we are discussing about armies and military leaders. Vijayanagara rulers invested a lot of money in building their military or army powers. They imported a large number of horses from Arabia and Iran, which came in ships to their ports on the west coast. They recruited a large army and built many strong forts. One of the important ruler, Devaraya II of the Vijayanagara, started recruiting Muslim fighters to serve him and to train his soldiers in the new modes of warfare. He also permitted the construction of the mosques in the capital city. In those days, guns and cannons had been newly introduced. The Vijayanagara kings adopted guns and cannons in their forces. The combination of the firearms and cavalry, that means horse riders, made them one of the most powerful army in India. Now we are going to discussing about captains of the troops, the Amarnayakas. The entire kingdom was actually controlled and administered by the commanders of the army. Domingo Pias, a Portuguese traveler who visited Vijayanagara during the Krishnadevaraya period, and he described in his description, he said that the king has a million fighting troops, in which are included 35,000 cavalry. Cavalry means horse riders, ready to be dispatched to anywhere to fight with enemies. The captains of these troops are the nobles of his kingdom, and hold the city, the towns, and the villages of the kingdom. There are captains among them who have revenue of about 1,000,000 gold coins, other 200s, 300s, or 500 or 1,000 gold coins. The king fixed for each, according to his revenue, the number of troops which he must maintain on foot, on the horses, on the elephants, etc. These troops are always ready for duty whenever and wherever they may have to go. The captains mentioned here, Nayakas, their main duty to collect the taxes from the traders and farmers. They also administrated the area under their control. They had judicial power. Judicial power means the power to give punishments for the criminals. This Nayakas hold Amara revenue. This revenue collect from the villages. It is similar to the Ikta revenue system, which we can see in Delhi Sultanate. Most of the Amarnayakas were Telugu warriors. They received their soldiers usually from among their own village or relatives and trained them. These armies were loyal to the Nayakas. Many powerful Nayakas like Saluva Narasimha and Narasanayaka control vast area. At the same time, challenged to the Vijayanagara kings. In fact, some of them were so powerful that when the king died, they took power in their own hands and themselves became kings. The picture, this is the stone chariot at Hajararama temple. Most of the Nayakas were Telugu and they led armies. Most of them, they were Telugu speakers. The Nayakas established control over the different regions of South India. These peasant soldiers also settled down and brought land under the cultivation. They built irrigation tanks and canals. All over the empire, tanks and reservoirs catch the rainwater and other drainage water were constructed by the kings. Chiefs, Nayakas and traders also constructed the tanks. Even temples invested their endowments in irrigation. We can see one inscription which belongs to the 1494 AD in Tirumala. It mentioned that the authority of Tirumala temple executed this inscription in favor of Timmanna Dandanayaka of Chandragiri as follows: whereas you have paid 300 gold coin to the temple treasury, this sum shall be invested for digging up the tanks for irrigation and agriculture in the village. Now we are going to discussing about the trade and cavalry of the Vijayanagaras. Trade in agricultural produce as well as crop produce like cloths increased in Vijayanagara period. We find changes in trade activities during this period. Mainly Vijayanagara kings exported agricultural produce and products and imports mainly horses from the Arabia and Portuguese. The trade centers were established in India on the sea coast, mainly seaports. They were under the administration of the local kings and the local merchants. Arabs, Jews, Armenians and others. These countries attracted to these seaports for the revenue as well as strategic commodities like horses. The knowledge of the breeding of horses appropriate for heavy cavalry tactics was lacking in India at that time. Guns were another strategic goods that were obtaining from the seaports. Next we are going to explain about the Sri Krishnadevaraya, ruler of Vijayanagara. Krishnadevaraya ruled from 1509 AD to 1529, that means 20 years. He was a great general who led to the Vijayanagara armies successfully against the Bahmani Sultan and also Gajapati of Odisha. During this period, the Portuguese had established their power over some ports of the western coast like Goa. Krishnadevaraya established a friendly relation with Portuguese in order to get exclusive supply of horses and firearms from them. He also employed Portuguese troops in his military. Every year on the Vijayadashmi day, the king organized celebrate festival and worship. On this day, all the chiefs and Amaranayakas on that day they brought gifts or money to the king. Krishnadevaraya paid special attention to the temples of his kingdom and personally visited many of them like Tirupati, Srisailam and Ahobilam. He also donated to a large number of temples. Krishnadevaraya also built so many beautiful temples in Vijayanagaram city. Towering temple gateways called Rai Gopuram were built in many of these temples in his time. Sri Krishnadevaraya was a king, also himself poet. He composed a poetic work, Amuktamalida, on the life story of Andal, the Tamil Bhakta poet. His court was adorned with 8 poets known as popularly Ashtadikkajas. They are Alsani Peddana, Mukku Timmana, Dorjati, Ramaraja Bhushanam, Tanali Ramakrishna, Pengali Surana, Ayyalaraju, Ramabhadradu and Madaya Gari Mallanna. After Sri Krishnadevaraya, Achyutadevaraya and Alaya came to power. Both were unable to fight with Bahmani kingdoms. In 1565, Rakshasa Tangadi, also called Tallikota War, and looted and destroyed the city of Vijayanagara. The emperor who succeeded him shifted their capital to Chandragiri near Tirupati, but never regained the glory of the earlier time. In the coming class, we will discuss chapter 6, Africa.